So I think you have a different opinion, but Andor is my favorite. Um, my favorite outside of the prequels and original Star Wars content. It's my favorite.
I think I would agree. Well,
I
not Clone Wars. Are you saying better than Clone
even
Wars?
even Clone Wars. Yeah, I like it even more than Clone Wars.
Okay, then I disagree. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We talked about this before, and you said you like Clone Wars. So
I love Clone Wars. It's my favorite show ever.
I feel like there's a bit of nostalgia on that. I feel like
Of course, there's a
Andor.
bit of a nostalgia, but I rewatch it all the time, and I still think it's better. It's
With
different. It's different kinds of better.
yeah, Andor
No,
is
they're completely different shows.
yeah, they're completely different shows, but it's just Andor has really affected me currently. I mean, I'm sure when I watched the Clone Wars when I was younger, the story plots and the different stuff that
Bit of
happens.
recency bias.
I'm just saying when I was younger and I watched Clone Wars, it probably affected me then too. But now, now that I'm watching Andor, like it makes me think about things differently. It's like
It definitely resonated with me like a lot.
yeah.
It was one of those. It's one of those shows that's like after you finish it, there's like a hole that's left within you, and it's like, what do I do now? And the only answer is to rewatch it. Like I'm going to rewatch the Narkina 5 arc. The prison arc is my favorite, bar none.
Was so good. I think like Gorman also for me was really good. It's just like the
it's so crazy that they made up their own language based on French. Like I thought they were speaking French, and then I watched the behind the scenes like look at it, and they're not speaking French. They're speaking well, I didn't think they were speaking French, but I'm not that stupid. Like I know it's not French words, but it's spoken in like a French sort of like.
It's a new dialect. It's a new dialect. It's a new dialect.
But creating a whole language for a show is insane to me, and they put so much thought into it. And having these actors like portray this language like it's like just like their first tongue is crazy to me.
This is a show that I think everyone should watch because if you're a Star Wars fan, I think you should watch it because it's some of the best Star Wars content out there. If you're not a Star Wars fan, I think you should watch it because it says a lot about serious topics about our society, about democracy, about freedom and prison systems and whatever what else you can put in there. It's
I think period it's one of the best shows that's come out in this ever. Like it's so good. I think I would give it an easy 10 out of 10. There are some things I would like different, but most of those things are just more. I'll go into them right now just because they're on my mind. But I think, and this is the case for I think a lot of people that I was reading online, immediately after finishing season 2, they watched Rogue One. And when I watch Rogue One, I see all these characters that aren't in Andor, and I sort of, and kind of vice versa, like Clara or Claria, who's one of the best characters in Andor, is not even shown in Rogue One, which is kind of confusing to me. But what I did want to see was sort of Galen's recruitment of Bodhi, the TIE fighter, into the rebellion. I think that would have been very on par for the show and sort of like how the rebellion started, because that's really what the show is about. It's not about Cassian. It's about the rebellion. You know, Cassian's the protagonist, but also it's like Mon Mothma was the protagonist, and all these other people from Ferrix are the protagonist. Everybody has their own story to tell within Andor, and it's done so well to show the hatred that the rebellion forms for the Empire and how it starts from such a young age with a lot of these people, especially Cassian and Clara. and then we get to see how there's even like hatred building within the ranks of the rebellion. Not everything's sweet. A lot of people, we have the rebellion that's built around like Mon Mothma and the senators like Bail Organa, and then we have the like extremist rebellion that's huffing Rhydonium over there with Saw Gerrera. And I love that we figure out that in Rogue One he's just huffing Rhydonium. That's super cool to finally get that revealed. But we also see like bits and pieces of how the rebellion really sparks in these different places. How on Gorman, the hotel guy, sort of like slowly builds his trust for the rebellion, and how everyone is becoming infuriated more and more with how the Empire is treating them. And then eventually this leads to like a giant, massacre at the Gorman Plaza. And we get to see from the beginning of this planet how the Empire focuses on it for the Kyber within it. They say it's Calkite, but they're mining Kyber, right?
The Kyber. Yeah, they're mining. I mean, they
Well, I know
kept saying Kyber.
They get Kyber from Jeddah, but are they lying about the Calkite in Gorman and it's Kyber?
I was confused about that because I think
It's
the
not
first
very
episode,
much.
right? First episode in that the Hitler house, they talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the Hitler house.
Yeah. No, it
Uh,
is.
they say Calkite, but after that, like whenever they mention what they're mining, I feel like they've always mentioned Kyber instead of Calkite.
Yeah, I think so too. Anyways, we get to see how Gorman is being strip mined and the Empire doesn't care about what happens to the residents, and how they sort of are just like from the start they are planning to take over and use a planet for their own means with no care for any regard for human life. And we see how the residents of Gorman learn to hate them. I mean, they already hated them because at the plaza there was already Governor Tarkin killed. I think it was like 50 Gormans in the plaza, and at that same plaza, Gormans were later massacred again under Deidre Miro. And let me just say, the acting, definitely the best in Star Wars, bar none. I don't think Star Wars is known for best, like really good acting, although there are some really good performances. But Andor, Diego Luna, the people, Deidre Miro's actor, I don't know all the actors' names. Cyril's actor, Alexander Skarsgård is Luthen.
Yep.
All of them just do such a great job as portraying their characters, and they really feel like their characters. Like, I love how Andor utilizes actors that I haven't seen before, like Clara or Claria. I heard that this is her first acting gig out of acting school, so it's like her first role ever, and she completely killed it. Like, her character is one of the best acted in the entire show, and one of the best. Clea, yes.
Okay.
She's so well acted and well done. The storytelling done with her characters very well thought out, and Tony Gilroy has given us some of the best Star Wars of the Disney era, bar none, and some of the best Star Wars in general.
I think the minor problems that you mentioned before, I think they're more of, I don't think they're necessary. I think
they're preference based. I agree.
I feel like it's a cameo syndrome, I want to call it. Like, you want to get a little cameo, a little Easter egg. I feel like they're not necessary. You just want to see them, right?
It's not that. It's more like I want more character depth and growth from sort of how the events of Rogue One tie into Andor and how they're directly coordinated.
Maybe if it was originally like it was going to be 5 seasons, Maybe they could have brought in
I
more
guarantee you they would have had
characters.
Bodhi if it was 5 seasons long.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All the characters that I mentioned, they would have been. All the characters from Rogue One would have been in it. And I
I'm
love rewatching Rogue One and seeing how the guy that I forget his name, but the guy who escaped Narkina 5 with Andor
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, is the ground commander of the troops at the Battle of Scarif. It's really cool.
Is he? I haven't rewatched Rogue One, so I don't.
Yeah, he is. He is.
Um,
He's like the one. He dies off screen, which is really sad. But he's with the blind guy and the blind guy's like brother or whatever before they die. I kind of prefer a show to be shorter than longer because if eh, it doesn't need to tell its story in such long amount of episodes. It told its story. It had the time it needed to tell it, and it told it well. I don't think we needed any more seasons, although it might have been planned for that. I think I'm happy with what we got, and to be honest, I'm satisfied. Like I'm satiated. I don't want any more Andor.
I also really like the callback about the little acts of rebellion happening everywhere, and how
Mhm.
uh Partagaz listens to the speech again, then he just has his own little act of rebellion and kills himself.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
think
that
that's really cool.
was a really cool. And Andor himself, like if it wasn't for the Skywalker family, he definitely feels like, I mean, he is a protagonist of like Star Wars, but I mean, if it
Mhm.
wasn't for the Skywalker family, I feel like he would have been more of a main character, if you know what I mean, right? Because like he has the
He feels like more of a
cools.
fleshed out character than almost anyone in the original trilogy, which I
Yeah,
guess is like the perks of having, so much. He basically is in 4 feature length movies because he's in 2 seasons, but he has so much good character depth. And watching Rogue One and the events that happen are completely changed just by watching this show. You gain so much like sympathy. He's just such a good written character, and
also
Diego Luna's acting performance is just top tier.
I also love this show because it shows us the common people, and when I mean common, like I mean non-force. Like,
Yeah, there's
you know,
no force wielders in the entire show,
yeah,
except if you count Plo Koon's, which we don't even know if that's Plo Koon's.
like in our society, we have alternative medicine and like essential oils and stuff and whatever. That's like
Mhm.
not truly medical. And in the Star Wars universe, they have quote unquote force healers. You don't actually know if they're doing anything. They say they are, and Andor was like skeptical of these, and I thought that was a really cool part of
Mhm. Well, Barris Offee is a force healer, and it's not. I don't think it's the first time force healers have been brought up or created, but I agree it was super
I'm not
cool
saying
to.
that. I'm just saying the concept of people being skeptical of force
Oh
healers,
yeah,
like how it is, how in real life. Yeah, I am skeptical of
I
alternative
think there's a
medicine.
lot of the best part of the show is how grounded it felt and how like realistic they really made everything feel within the Star Wars universe. They brought like so much realism, so much levity and weight to all of these characters because they experience all these like horrible, horrible things that are actually like shown. Like we get to see Cassian rotting in prison. We get to see people straight up murdered by K2s. We get to see people massacred at the square. It's sort of like how in the original trilogy we get to see a whole planet destroyed, but we don't really get the levity of that and the weight of what just happened because we don't see anyone on the ground. Meanwhile, to see in Rogue One like a short burst from the Death Star that destroys towns and like the ripple from the blast like is slowly destroying everybody, and we get to see like a ground view of the whole planet like breaking apart. That brings so much more. gravity to the situation and really like brings in the realism of these are billions of lives being destroyed all at once.
And like in the originals, I don't think you ever got the idea that the rebellion was more, I don't want to say fractured, but more varied than, rebellion was the rebellion, but Rogue One and Andor, it makes it more real. There's
Mm.
factions, there's people that disagree, and it feels so real that when I was watching the last episode and people are doubting Luthen's information, I literally got up. I was so mad. I was like, if I was there, I would be rooting for Luthen. I would be his number one fan. Okay, I'm glazing right now, but that's what I would have done. Okay.
I think Luthen is such a good character. I agree. That scene is infuriating. We see all the, and it's supposed to be infuriating. We get to see how mad Cassian gets because no one believes the information that Luthen died to give everybody. Nobody trusts the credibility of the information that they're all in so much peril and trouble.
I have one final thought, and it's about KS20. What was his name?
K2SO.
K2SO. I think if it wasn't for R2D2, he would be my favorite Star Wars droid.
Oh, I love Alan Tudyk's voice. He's such a good he's such a good droid, and he's one of my favorite actors of all time. He's such a K2SO is so good. I'd have to think. What other droids are there?
The one in Rebels, there's that one.
I don't like Chopper all that much.
Yeah. C3PO, but I'll be honest, he's mad.
Supposed to be annoying.
He's mad.
Well, if we're not counting General Grievous since he's a cyborg.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm looking through all of them.
And I'll say this too. R2D2.
What about the one droid that Lando Calrissian fucked?
Who?
Hello?
Who?
The one droid from Solo that apparently Han Solo had sex with? Not Han Solo, sorry. Lando Calrissian.
Are we bringing that one into the top 5 conversation?
2-1B. Why not? I think definitely K2SO is up there.
And I'll even say this. I think with R2D2, it's a bit of nostalgia too. I feel like,
for sure.
I feel like if
it's also a lot of being there for Anakin and Luke and not being like his own character.
Yeah.
He can't really say anything.
I mean, he does have his own character and personality, but not as much as K2SO.
The most we get to see is we get to see that personality is a sunny day in the void arc in Clone Wars. Fire arc, by the way. I don't care if you guys hate it. It's fire.
That was my final thought for Andor. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I think to wrap up, I think just go watch this show. I think anyone who's seen it will tell you it's the best show they've seen in recent years, or at least it's the best show they've seen lately. You don't have to be a Star Wars fan to like this show. There's a lot about it that is just so good and doesn't have to be about Star Wars, but it's in the Star Wars universe and sort of helps make that Star Wars universe feel so much better and so much fresher than we've ever seen before.
All right. And right before we go, I'll say this. Your comments, especially your comments, your likes and views are also, but your comments especially are the lifeblood of this channel, because we get discouraged when we get no views, no comments. But even when there's low views, when we have at least one comment, that makes a big difference.
I agree. I love just seeing them and then like replying as well. If you have any thoughts on what we've talked about here, you don't even have to like ask us any questions, but I'd love to answer any questions. Um, Feel free to ask, but any comments are much appreciated.
So yeah, as I've just mentioned, don't forget to subscribe if you liked our videos, and like this video if you did like it. Comment whatever you want to say.
Ring the bell, ring the bell. Okay, ring the
And
bell.
we'll see you all next time. Oh, also, one last thing. Let us know if you guys like this newer editing style. I'm trying to become more efficient, pumping out videos faster. Let us know if you like it or not.
Yeah, any critiques on the video style at all would be very helpful. You know, we're changing things constantly, and we're just trying to find the best thing for people to watch. So yeah.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
Don't let me leave, Murph!